Bermas here. Let's get this kind of straight. We're going to be folding clothes. We're going to be talking UFOs, satellites, balloons, Satelloons, NASA, and much more. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so I want to thank you. I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of propaganda later. That's usually why I watch the show. I don't really. I guess it's the Chiefs and the Eagles. I got a few friends that are big Eagles fans back home, but otherwise I could not care much less. I don't really care about that. What I am interested in to see what the indoctrination is going to be this year, because every single year we see a multitude of propaganda and what I would call also PR, advertising, all the same thing at this point. At this, it's the highest level event of its kind. Oh, look at that, bam! There's no doubting that, and it's in the midst of this weird circle of people talking about UFOs and you know, the UFO rollout, the acting like we don't know what these things are, guys. Let's stop for a second. No one's shooting down aliens, right? So, and you know how I feel about that whole alien thing. I think it's a cover. I think we're talking about propulsion systems. I think we're talking about weapon systems. I think we're talking about holographic systems, right? All together. All different ones. I think you're talking about communication systems on top of that. I mean, communication systems at this point are weapon systems, right? So here's a speculation for everybody. And, you know, I want to thank everybody who's already joined me. Let's see, what do we got here? It's hard to read from this. Maybe I'll bring it in a little bit. Okay? We've had those massive earthquake events in both Turkey and in Syria. Now, Syria in particular, you have to understand the geopolitics of that. Number one, I would like to see if it's leaked somehow that just amazingly, the United States, who has a large military presence there, NATO that has a large military presence there, the mercenaries that are allied, did not get out of that area before the earthquake. I'm just saying I would be interested to see if there's any evidence of that. Bermas Brigade, if you can find that, I'd love to look into that, because that's a big, big, big tell. Okay? And look, I want to be really careful with this. I want to be really, really careful with this, okay? We're in a time period now where you can have somebody like Seymour Hersh, who we harp on, and think about how many broadcasts I've done about Hersh before this breaking story on the Nord Stream pipeline that nobody seems to be covering at length, other than Tucker Carlson. It's a 20-page intricate report on how the whole thing went down with people who were in the room. Okay? Am I saying Hersh is perfect? No, I'm not. I think he's got his faults, but I think that his reporting is usually 80+% accurate and solid. And he doesn't just publish things on a whim. Okay? So we're living in a time where a bunch of people are telling you that our carbon is going to kill us, and then they the same people, right? Sabotage a pipeline, letting so much carbon into the atmosphere, it's unthinkable, right? And again, you have to first of all be under this Orwellian doublethink that would be okay, but then you're also supposed to be subservient and act like it didn't happen. It's an odd world we live in, okay? So in that time period where you can run a drill out in the open, you can plant highly explosive devices to be detonated later, and then just go, the other guy did it on a global stage, and it's the most absurd thing ever, and just the media parrots it, okay? And you'll have defender after defender after defender on social media, whether they're real or not, because we don't know. We live in a post-truth world in a program of signature reduction. Okay, in that time period, and you've seen my NASA documents, so everybody knows how I feel about that. So it's a big deal, and it's something that needs to be looked at more and more and more. Okay, but you're talking about stealth warfare, and I saw that HARP was trending. And look, all I'm going to say, and I'm not saying, I want to make this so clear. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is anything but speculation. But I know there's been a lot of videos posted out there of weird lights flashing before the earthquake. The green beam thing, everybody's acting like it's some kind of Chinese project. Those are just lasers. I mean, that's not even really big-time technology, whether it's surveilling anything or not. I mean, you could crudely rig up something to do that easily. I'm just saying the green lines. Going back to Syria and Turkey, if in fact HARP weapons are now being utilized, okay, we're in another, especially on that level where they'll just kill civilians like that. The tragedy in Syria right now, and no one's, that really bothers me, by the way. No one's talking about those poor people. Nobody's talking about those poor people. And then there are reports that the Israeli military is stopping Iran from aiding them. We get 100 thumbs up. That's disgusting and disturbing. And the fact that we're not treating those people like human beings, oh, it makes me sick. The stuff I see in my feed, it's hard to see. It's hard to see. And I watch some of those videos where these buildings, like from the ground up, are just done, and then dun, 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 dun. But since a lot of them are modern buildings, they're still standing up after like 3 or 4 levels are just crushed. Scary. Scary. So I'm not saying, again, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not saying that wasn't a natural event. But if the powers that shouldn't be, the military and industrial complex, can do that sort of thing with impunity, with really, literally no fingerprints, we are in trouble, especially when they're starting to roll out the UFOs. And whether they act like these things are, Chinese weapon systems, or whether they act like they are aliens or whatever, it almost doesn't matter, right? Both serve a purpose: to keep people in fear, to keep people in confusion, and I think in a lot of cases project actual misinformation, disinformation, so that the vast majority of us that bring up these things can be dismissed out of hand or made fun of. Because again, that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. Oh, what do you guys think? What's up for the Super Bowl today, everybody? Does anybody have any theories on these UFOs? Again, the other thing is, so to get back how the UFOs, the downed, what I think are Satelloons, right? Just like we saw earlier in the air. Oh, dry skin right there. I think that if you're doing those sorts of things, or even testing those sorts of things, you may be disrupting the communication system that I think is a global network, okay, in the air that's not in low Earth orbit, that are those type of satellites. It's funny because I'm not going to say who it was, but they were over my house for the fights on Saturday night. And he goes, you've seen the video of what they shot down, right? And he was talking about this latest shoot down. And he showed me a video that has been on the History Channel. And it's a video that I've actually covered on my channel a couple of times. In fact, it's the little cube satellite that I talked about that gets filmed by the guy in the aircraft. What I think is a nanosat or a CubeSat. And I looked at him, I go, bro, that's been out for years. I go, I've actually done a video on that video and what I think it is, and it's a cube or nanosat, and that's the other thing. So that cube or nanosat isn't on a balloon, has some kind of communications and movement system, was much lower at the time than it probably should have been. Those ones, the nano and CubeSats, are supposedly going up into low Earth orbit with the Muskernuts program, the ride-along program, on the SpaceX stuff. Okay? The Air Force canceled their show so the UFOs could do the flyby. It's changed subject. Still worried about Japan nukes. I don't know what that means. Still melting 20 years. Again, I'm looking at this stuff, guys, and you tell me, what do you guys think? I think that there's a good possibility that we're putting more and more of these satellite systems up there, especially the ones that are on balloons. I think they are, in fact, again, a joint venture, probably with at least China, Russia, and the United Kingdom, probably Israel, maybe even Saudi Arabia, the UAE, right? Any kind of nation state that either is their own nuclear power a la Russia, and there are treaties and rules up there, okay, or is also aligned. You know, the second and third world nations, who knows? Who knows who's got a hold of them? Let's see. All I know is it's weird getting to the truth, Jason. I cannot believe you're ghosting me, by the way. Oh, hi, Grace. How you doing? Let's see. It's all leading to Joey B flying in on a balloon during the halftime show. That's right. Well, wasn't that some kind of a scandal right there? Let's see. When I think about the Joe Biden thing, I saw there was a scandal that Joe Biden wasn't going to be interviewed, okay, for the Super Bowl. And I guess that's because it's Fox this year for the Super Bowl. Like it's through all these mainstream networks. And somehow I think they've got him doing an interview now that's going to air during the Super Bowl. I don't know how long that tradition has been, the Super Bowl message with the president. Because again, the Super Bowl is not my thing. Will you be doing a watch along on the halftime show? God, Lord, no. Who is the halftime show? I don't even know. Let's see. Based and clothed, folding, pilled. You know how I feel, guys. You got to clean your own house first, right? You got to take care of yourself. Probably a good idea to do the laundry every once in a while. Joe, let's see, strapped into a day chair, helium balloons. That would be hilarious. Come on, guys. Now, don't we think that would be funny? If you know what, that would be kind of hilarious. This is what I want to see. Now that we're all on balloons, I want to see, okay, a huge like satellite balloon with like the big old, it said it was like 3 bus lengths satellite. So we can make that just a little bit smaller. And then like I want that to be another balloon. You know, you've seen like the whiny Trump balloon. Let's have like a Joe Biden balloon. Almost, who's the puppet guy that has the old grumpy man? Jeff Dunham. So a Jeff Dunham style balloon of the old grumpy man, aka Biden, the zombie J himself, and that comes down into the field, and then out of the crotch, sitting down on the thing, comes Joe Biden waving to everybody. Can you imagine that? A chant, and all of a sudden, you got a bunch of cheerleaders on both sides, both sets of cheerleaders, the Chiefs and the Eagles, if they still have cheerleaders. I'm not sure if that's real. They come in, okay, on each side, and they start chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." And then they throw Joe Biden the mic, right? They throw Joe Biden the mic, and he just breaks into, like, It's Not Unusual by Tom Jones. And Tom Jones comes out. And, you know, they do the first verse together. I think that this is all really good. They do the first verse of that together, and then from below, they got some kind of stage set that you know is by the satellite, and they can have Sam Smith and the Luciferian thing going on, and they can merge it all together. What do you guys think? Sound good? I'd buy that for $1. Oh boy. Let's see, what do we got here? Not even 100 thumbs up. Let's get the thumbs up, guys. You guys know what we're doing. We're doing it live, 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday, across platforms. And then on top of being across platforms, as you guys know, if you're watching, we go over to redvoicemedia.com. And I want to thank Red Voice again and again and again and again for giving me this opportunity. I'm having a blast doing that morning show. Let's see. Oh, this is my laundry room. You know, this is the back wall. This is where my washer and dryer are. You know, it's not a fashion show, guys. I'm not worried about that stuff at all. At all. And you got to get your clothes done. Back to the show, however, we're going to be definitely breaking down the UFO, the sky technology, what they're trying to sell you on. I mean, guys, think about it. I've been blowing the whistle and warning people. This whole Luis Elizondo thing and the History Channel teaming up on the ancient aliens thing is all to prepare you for this idea you're not special. You're some kind of genetically created organism that doesn't really have a soul, right? That's just zeros and ones. It's all about evolution, right? The aliens, the Prometheus theory. There can't be an intelligent design by any form of deity, and there can't be any kind of religion other than their own. And their religion, unfortunately, is one of command, control, and death under the guise of Gaia. The earth demands sacrifice. Too many humans are bad for the earth. Just saying. That's not my motto. That's not my shebango at all. No, sir. Well, I'm glad that you are also doing laundry, Geneva. It's good to have a laundry audience here. Let's say. So, what's everybody doing for Super Bowl Sunday? They having friends over? They just cuddling up? They going to the bar? What's the deal? I was stuck in Plato's cave, but I'm out. Scott, New York City. Boy, New York is rough sauce. Rough sauce. By the way, the fights, great card for the UFC. I thought Volkanovski won 3-2, by the way. Maybe I'll be able to do that with John Fitch. I got to find a time to do mixed martial mindset. Maybe I'll throw him, it's Super Bowl Sunday, so he's probably not going to want to do it tonight. Maybe we should be doing it Sunday right after the fights so we can review him. He does the Sunday night thing, though, on his own. Let's see. Making a mushroom and fish curry. Flounder. Well, CB. Delicious. Bread and citrus. I am stripping paint off my bike for a new paint job. There we go, Terry. Terry J. chillin'. I like that. Getting stuff done on a Sunday. F the Super Bowl. Who watches that trash? There's still a lot of people like football. Oh, by the way. All right. It's time to weigh in. It's time to weigh in on Demar Hamlin. So, obviously, what's upsetting to me is no major media, and now he's kind of been on the media rounds, giving press conferences, just did that interview with Michael Strahan. No one has asked him the obvious question we can't ask here. You know what I'm saying? We can't ask the obvious questions. That's the big problem. But a lot of people jumped on the deep fake train, jumped on the actor train. I'm sure there's a lot of people jumping on the clone train. Clone train, clone train, clone train, clone train, clone train. And again, another thing we've discussed here. What is the reality of cloning technology that we know of? I have seen no evidence, and who knows if it's real or not, but I don't think it is. First of all, I don't think they can transfer consciousness. That's a big problem. If you can't transfer consciousness, which I don't think they can do, especially to biological entities, this whole idea of a clone that's going to be able to mimic someone, it's even made to look like if they could gestate them to that level, is a problem. It's a problemo. You get it? El problemo. I don't think it exists. So, first of all these, Biden is a clone, Musk is a clone, Kushner is a clone, clone. No. Johnny nonsense, not real, and not something you're ever going to see me jump on. Now, real cloning technology, however, where you could take someone's DNA and essentially, birth that person in an artificial womb. Yeah, that's real. That's been around for a long time. And unfortunately, it's been admitted to human chimeric species with other, I would assume, all sorts of biogenetic life, including, obviously, animal, but also plant life. And who knows what else? Who knows? Perhaps bio-nanotech that is not of nature. I would assume that's been going on. Okay? That's real. But all this other stuff is a bunch of Johnny nonsense. So, look, I want to see, first of all, it would be a good thing if Demar Hamlin were not only able to come back, but fully recover from this thing, because that would show there's treatments for the question they're not asking. Right? And no matter what, all of us should be sympathetic to somebody who perhaps was forced to do something, right? And then had that happen to them at a very young age. So, unfortunately, I just think a lot of that coverage, obviously was very misdirected, very incorrect, and harmful. Because then it also discredits you. And some people hang on and hold on forever. Hold back. Hold back for a little while. Right? Deepfake technology also exists in real time. It's probably a lot better than we know of right now. But, I'll say it again, hold back. Unless you think you've really got the goods, that you can prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence is there. The evidence is irrefutable. Pull back. Pull back. Because, I see a lot of people parroting what some people who have a large following are saying. And here's the thing with those people with a large following. And I'm not trying to poop on anybody. I'm not trying to break out my poop-a-loop. I'm not trying to Biden all over you. Okay? Let me make that clear. But in one particular diatribe from somebody, I heard them integrate, not only weapons of mass destruction, not only the Kennedy assassination, but then also 9/11. And it's like, I get it. And they're a little too wishy-washy when they brought up 9/11. Okay? I think it was something about alleged Muslim terrorists or something with 9/11. And I'm just like, listen, I think this person was being sincere, by the way. I don't think they're like some kind of plant. Let me make that clear. But when you're talking about these issues, I think we all know that when you get something that wrong and it looks that foolish to the rest of everybody, anything else you associate with it, all of a sudden gets thrown into the meat grinder, and all of a sudden, that's not credible to ask questions about. And you do the bidding of the mainstream media industrial complex. No thanks. Let's see. My spouse's team won the Puppy Bowl. That's it for us. Boom! Big day! What other bowls are there? I remember there used to be, there was the Bud Bowl. There was, what was it, like the Lingerie Bowl? Let's see. What were the other big bowls? There's the Puppy Bowl. I don't think there's a Kitty Bowl. I'd like to eat a chili bowl myself. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe it will be chili. Let's see. Is Bluebeam coming back, or was it in hibernation? Geneva asked the question. First of all, Bluebeam. No one can reference, other than the only reference I've seen for Bluebeam is a presentation given by, I think he was either a journalist or a scholar, I believe in Canada, where he referenced this project. I have not seen any documents directly relating to Bluebeam ever. And I have not found this person's lecture. I would love the lecture, because if the lecture's there and it's a PowerPoint, at least maybe I can find the document. That's a big deal. That's something I would like to do. Now, that being said, I don't think that it is unreasonable to question our eyeballs. I think it should. Do I think such a plan could exist? Absolutely. My problem is, again, when I reference this stuff, I always do it with a caveat of what's really out there. Because I am seeing a lot of, here come the aliens and Project Bluebeam. And the mainstream is just going to go, it doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, well, there's adaptive technology. There's also a lot of public holographic technology. These things are certainly possible. Are they probable? Can they be weaponized, et cetera, et cetera? I'm going to pull that stuff out. If anybody out there can get me the old blue beamage, old blue beamer, I'd love to see it. You know where my DMs are at. I check them occasionally for good news stories. I want to thank everybody who has contributed over there, Bermas Brigade, because you guys kick Arnis and take some names, and we love that. And we love that. HARP accesses its energy from the air. Tesla Tech. The poo bowl, eh, Buffy? NASA got some dirty laundry, too. Listen, Stephanie, this is the clean laundry right here. That's what this is. This is clean as it gets. Doesn't get cleaner than this. We're refolding the clean laundry. It's a day. We're making it a day. Let's see. Who's Abraham Clark? You Truth N. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Because as I've said many a times, I am not even a quote-unquote truther. I am Jason Bermas, and I have been looking for the truth. And I try to present the truth. And for me, honesty is not only the best policy, it's the ultimate form of love. Truth is love. Love is truth. And I think that it's important that you keep a balance of both. And part of that truth has to be you being honest with your audience and yourself. And not just jumping on fads and trains. Let's see. Balloon Amati. I like that. Balloon Amati. The Balloon Amati. So funny. Let's see. Honesty and truth. That's right, Karen. Shill. Recognize shill. I guess Abraham Clark doesn't like me. Look at him, huh? Wow, that really hurts my feelings. Anonymous people on the internet don't like Jason Bermas. Brand new. Haven't been going through that for, close to 20 years. That's my favorite, too. Like, I see these people. There's this guy that's, a grotesque person in a Twitter feed. On purpose. A grotesque person on purpose. And I'll just say this. It's a comment on the video I've been playing of that woman who is rightfully justified. And I think it was originally posted by Peter McCullough. So I get all these responses. And so many people are fighting with this guy. And I'm just like, this person's, I think his account was from somewhere. It's been around for a year, maybe a year and a half. It's anonymous. Anything that is on Twitter that's less than 2 years old, first of all, especially when you look at the months, I'm like, okay, no thanks. And then anybody who's just totally, I go to their media and see if there's actually anything about them, like they post a picture, because they don't have to put it in their bio or whatever. And when there's not, I'm just like, I don't argue with anonymous losers. Why would I waste my time on somebody that's not even there in good faith, purposefully? And unfortunately, we have these cases. One, you've got trolls. That's real. There's just haters. Hate is going to hate. Love is going to love. I don't even want none of the above. Okay? But then you actually have a concerted effort of these signature reduction troll bots. And that's real. And they just want you to waste your time on the internet. One of the things I think I've actually done a pretty damn good job of is I don't immerse myself in social media posting. In fact, it's almost annoying to me, even when I have to do my shows. But I try to stick to my shows and news and Twitter. And I admittedly maybe even scroll too much on Twitter, but that's kind of my news feed too, right? I also have some other apps, and when I'm on my 4-monitor display, obviously Daily Mail is a really good one. I go there a lot. I think everybody knows that because it's a good aggregate. All the grays popping today, guys. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Support the broadcast down below. But social media shouldn't be taking hold of your life. That should not even be in the spectrum of top things that you are worried about, in my opinion. I just don't even care about it. Like, I don't have Facebook on my phone for a reason. Facebook's great for me to, you know what I usually use Facebook for? Don't get me wrong. I'll occasionally scroll through, see what's on there, see what's in the feed. But I talk to one of my best friends from college on there constantly, and I communicate with other people from my fraternity on there also. Some other people, you know, from way back, like that I went to high school with, or that I've known since I was a kid. That's about the only communications I do on there. I mean, other than that, no thanks. My Instagram, I've posted twice to it, and it was based on the Rockfin thing. By the way, I do want to thank all my supporters over at the Rockfin. Hopefully you're enjoying it over there. Putting a lot of the second hour stuff out in full over at Rockfin, whereas I can't put it out in full over here at YouTube. If you saw the Daphne video, you know, I've since come to learn that Norville is Shaggy. I had no idea, and they have changed Shaggy into, I believe, at least a black man or maybe a half black man. Maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? I don't want to get that ethnically wrong. Let's see. Super Russian bot NPC troll shit truther here. Ha ha. So I mean, again. Here's the thing. I love how the language of the day always gets thrown in. And I hate NPC, non-playable character, blah, blah, blah. You've never seen me post one of those NPC memes or like the bearded dude memes. Memes in general, I don't post. If you get a dozen memes a year out of Jason Bermas that I post directly across all platforms, that's huge. Got other things to do with my time, man. I got laundry to fold. Right? I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. I mean, why shouldn't you be folding laundry if you're going to buck up to the Super Bowl all night and be put through literal torture watching the commercials? Yikes. Commercials are going to be rough. They're probably all over already. They usually play a bunch of them throughout the day, sometimes in full, sometimes not. Used to be a bigger thing. Let's see. Satanist Sunday. My laundry is overdue. Then get to it. Someone says not drunk yet. Seriously, it's a Sunday. I mean, if you are going down to the bar to have a few, I'm sure there's a lot of Super Bowl specials. I know that a lot of people working in pizza shops, etc., they hate this day because of all the wings they have to do. Yay, let me get 120 wings over here and 4 pies, and I need it for kickoff. Sir, kickoff's in 20 minutes. I said I need it for kickoff, Chief. Oh, all right. One bin down, guys. One bin down. You thought I was done? You thought it was just one bin? Oh no, afraid not. We got a second bin a coming. Second bin a coming. Let's see. It sounds like my mic is clippy. Is it really? I mean, it's just my phone. I don't have a microphone on. Guys, what do you think? This is my setup? Yeah, you know, he set it right up and got a microphone for folding his laundry. It's just that sucks. Trojan horse, gluten-free, bread and circus. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's get this down here. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share, guys. Oh. Remember, this is how we do it. We do the laundry in this house. You know what? Jordan Peterson can talk about making your own bed. Jason Bermas actually does his own laundry. How about that? How about that, Jordan? How about that, Daily Wire? Boom! Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely, Adam, stop the war. So there's a big anti-war thing coming up next weekend. And it's over in D.C. My brother's going to be here. I was actually considering maybe going out there. A lot of good speakers. I know there's a lot of people trying to derail that, but some of my personal friends are speaking there. And the bottom line is, I'm about unity. I'm about unity. That's what I'm about. February 19th. I could care less if I don't agree with half the people there, or 3/4 of the people there. If they're there to stop wars, get Assange free, get some accountability. I don't care what party they are. I don't care what they've said in the past. I don't care what gender they identify as. I don't give a rat's arnis. Good times and nursery rhymes. We need more of it, more of it, more of it, more of it. Thumbs it up. People that want to constantly ask yourself, what's up with these people that constantly want to burn bridges? That doesn't mean that you can't be critical of somebody. That doesn't mean that you can't disagree on a certain subject. But let's get real. By the way, I'll probably mention this tomorrow because I'm not going to get done bitching. But I'm pissed at both my buddies here in Bettendorf. So, first of all, Pat Militich, who's a good friend of mine, he had tickets to an event where Carrie Lake was speaking like a mile away from my house. I had no idea she was speaking. No one told me anything. I'm like, do you know what my job is? Even Todd, you're getting it. My boy Todd is getting it. Because, he runs the River City Reader. Apparently he was there. No one told me Carrie Lake was there. Wait, it gets worse. So this is Friday, I believe. Yeah, it had to be Friday. And, it was Friday. And she spoke in Des Moines yesterday. And my friend Pat does a podcast, MMA Mobsters, which, listen, if you gamble on MMA, his partner, Justin, is fantastic. He hits, man. I'll tell you what, I've been watching it for about a month. I'm not gambling yet. I might start a side thing. This guy is good. He's good. So they actually put on a really entertaining podcast, but then they were doing an after party at a bar where they were going to do a recording too. Carrie Lake showed up to that, and no one gave me a call and said, hey, Carrie's here. Yes, I yelled at Pat Militich. Hey, isn't that hilarious? I mean, my sorry globular ass is yelling at Pat Militich, UFC Hall of Famer and coach. And by the way, one of his boys, somebody who I've called fights with, and I actually texted before they said it, Jens Pulver in the UFC Hall of Fame also. So congratulations to Jens. By the way, guys, I don't want to crap all over people that watch sports or have a good time. I hope a lot of people are going to have a good time with their friends, with their families, with their loved ones during this thing. That's what it's about, right? Like that Saturday that I have with my buddies watching those fights is such a decompression and a good time. I love it. I love it. We don't all agree on everything. We bust each other's chops, and we watch my favorite sport, MMA. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I love my work so much, and I love the truth so much, and I love freedom so much. It would have been a lot cooler if Monday I could have brought you an exclusive in-person interview with Carrie Lake. Would have been kind of cool, huh, guys? I think it would have been kind of cool. But I got to get over it. I've just got to move on, everybody. I don't want to move on. But I would have liked that just as much. In fact, let's be honest. I love going to a sporting event. I love being around my friends, my family. Hopefully my brother's going to be up next weekend. We'll do probably sit around and watch MMA thing at some point. Haven't been able to do that much, when we do see each other. No matter what the situation is, it's usually on a weekend, so we do get to do that now. But at the same time, what really feels good is when I know I have an impact. When all of a sudden I see something I've been covering, all of a sudden getting more coverage and people waking up to it. All of a sudden when I see people waking up to authoritarianism and mandates and Orwellian advertising and Bernaysian tactics, that makes me happy. That honestly, I love what I do, and I'm so glad that you guys allow me to do that. I love showing people the reality about UFOs in most instances being government programs and projects. I love bashing the Chinese spy satellite narrative that doesn't seem to be real. I love speculating and letting you know I'm speculating so you guys too can do the research. Let me know if I have a point, okay? Let me know if I have a point, and then send me information on it. I love it. I love these interactions. I love humanity. I haven't had a mandate in a while. Let's see. That totalitarian exposed. The county is so screwed up. Kansas City is in Missouri. Kansas City. Wait, where is the Super Bowl? Is it in Kansas? It can't be in Kansas City, right? We just got silver and gold in the Senate and House next. I don't know if we got silver and gold in the Senate or House. Listen, you guys, if you follow this channel, I'm not a huge fan of either party. And when some people are praising certain people, I'm often not. Or when I am, it's with a caveat. It's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't have worn a Cruella de Vil costume. Maybe. Just saying. The Super Bowl is in Phoenix. Okay. Yes, there is a part of Kansas City in Kansas and Missouri is a border. I actually went there when I was traveling across the country trying to figure out where I was going to settle outside of upstate New York, because upstate New York had taken on the authoritarianism very early on of the entire nightmare. Oh, for some reason I was thinking about Andrew Capo Cuomo the other day, and it's probably because no one's confronted him on like the reality of what he's done and who he really is, and just the horrors that he caused in that state. And then when he was forced to leave, it was over grab ass and not the actual crimes he committed. And it really got under my skin. Really got under my skin. You got out of New York right at the right time. Yeah, I did. I sure did. I feel like I did too. It was right before the holiday season. It was the very beginning of October of that year. And before they started rolling out everybody, doing that thing. It was time to get out. I'm so glad I was not around when that happened. I don't think I could have taken it. I think it would have been overwhelming mentally for that. I'm stuck in Orange County, New York. I hate it. Get out of there. Get out of there. And listen, I love upstate New York. When I spoke there over the summer, out by Batavia, and I go to visit my brother, out in outside of Montgomery County. I love that stuff. Love it. Let's see. Why not Florida? I don't think I visited Florida. Not last September, but the September before that. Went all the way down to the Keys. Even at that point in September, so that's almost a year after I moved to Iowa, I still didn't feel like it was as free as Iowa. I still didn't feel that way. Now, I'm on the border of Illinois with Iowa, and during that whole time period, it's only recently that I've been not so annoyed with Illinois, as all the restrictions have gone. But I don't like their policies because even though we're not Chicago's like 2.5 hours away. It's funny because the city's about 2.5, 3 hours away from where I was living in New York. But you're beholden to their policies. You're beholden to their high level of corruption. And I don't like that. Not a fan. Don't like it. I really... The other thing is, if something were to go down, and I've been thinking about this a lot more too. Like I said, if a nuclear weapon goes off anywhere or anything that's destructive or something like it, and we're told it's that, the whole world changes. All of it. The whole world. And I want to have options. I like being in the middle of the country. I don't own my home. So I can pick up and go. I can cut my losses. I can find another way. I can navigate. Now, eventually, I'd like to navigate to owning my own home in the country that is somewhat isolated from every situation. That would be great. But until then, my friends, I want the diversity. And I don't mind the weather. It's like today, everybody's like, oh, the winters are so brutal here. No, they're really not. Compared to what I was used to, guys, for quote-unquote brutal winters. Upstate New York had another brutal winter. And a lot of you guys, Buffalo's Western New York, but, upstate still gets hammered. There's been, like, almost no snowfall here. I've seen no significant snowfall at all this year. And it's 60 degrees outside right now. 60 flippin' degrees. It's great. The whole world is going to get what it deserves unless good men do unreasonable things to bad ones. Let's see. Move to liberal Kansas, LOL. Listen, so here's a funny thing. I went to Kansas City, and I booked a hotel, and I think I was on, I'm not sure if I was on the Missouri side or not. I couldn't tell you what side, but I spent some time in Missouri. I actually liked it. So I may have been on the Kansas side. But all of a sudden, they had implemented the mask mandates, and I went into a convenience store without a mask, and the teenager told me to put one on, and that was it. I was like, all right, well, good thing I only booked the hotel for a night because I'm leaving tomorrow. And I left the next day. You had Makachev. I had 3-2. I had it 2-2 going into whatchamacallit. I had 1-3 for Volkanovski, I believe, and 2-4 for Makachev, and I thought that Volkanovski got the last round, 5th round. That's how I felt about it. Great fight. Great fight. Volkanovski's the man. I mean, he should get an immediate rematch. That's all I'm saying. And they should do it out in Russia. Of course, with the climate, there's no way that they could actually do that. Let's see what we got. Run it back. Yeah, they need to run it back. Karen doing the work in there. She's letting you know, guys, you can be RVM Premium for a whole week for only $1. And if you really want to lock it in, you want to support the broadcast, which I would encourage you to do, lock it in for $100. Do the hundo. You do a hundo, you get a whole year. That's 4 days a week. I haven't missed a day yet. 4 days a week, almost 2 hours of material, and an hour behind the paywall. Now, again, you can go to redvoicemedia.com/Jason. And today is, I believe, the 12th. Today's the 12th? Yeah, today's the 12th. So that means everything before January 28th is free both hours. Free both hours. And then tomorrow when we broadcast, another one goes free that was behind the paywall. I am posting some of that stuff to Rockfin. Rockfin's another great way to support me. If you just want to give me a general donation, love what I do, buy me a coffee, $5, $10, $15. It absolutely means the world to me, guys. I'm not able to do this without you. And I love you for it. Like I said, I genuinely love what I do. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, if more people just did the right thing in their own communities with their own lives and their own families, think about how much better everything would be. The whole internet says Volk won the UFC, is becoming the WWE. That was a close one. You know, that one was tough, but it still bothered me. One of the judges had it 4 rounds to 1. For Makachev, which I couldn't have seen. I almost thought it might have been a majority draw because there was one round where Volk was held down for like 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I think it was it might have been round 4. And Volk was striking, but they don't usually care. Someone could have given that a 10-8. And then they could have gone one or the other ways. One or the other. What are we, T-minus 1 hour from kickoff now, guys? We got to be close to T-minus 1 hour to kick off. Let's see. They will make it back and get 3 fights. Who knows if they're going to get 3 fights out of it. But, Volkanovski's the dude. But, I mean, who else at 155 is even a challenge to Islam? He's never been tested like that. Even his loss, it's not like it went 5 rounds. It's great fight. Depends on where you are, but pay-per-views, number 1, in the United States, you need to have ESPN Plus, which I think has gone through the roof. It's at least $9.99. It might be $11.99 at this point a month. So you got to spend the $12 a month. So they encourage you to get the whole Disney package, even though I don't want Disney Plus. I don't have it. I don't have Hulu. That's the whole package, right? So they try to get you to get the Disney package. And then I believe right now it is $74.99. It could be as much as $79.99 plus tax and fees. So really, with that month that you're paying for taxes and fees, you're pushing $90 to $100 for a pay-per-view. You watched it at the Booty Bar. Yeah, Holy Smokes is right. They get you. They get you, guys. They get you. So definitely something to keep in mind. And, listen, it was a fun card. And I like that, I like that in a couple weeks later, you get the free pay-per-view. But now it's so mainline. Everybody already knows what happened. And, for me, unless I see the fight, like, within 48 hours and I stay completely off social media, it gets ruined. I don't want to know the outcome. I want to be genuinely surprised if there's an upset. Call me kooky. You could not pay me to view, says Alex Baldwin. Well, Alex, I'm a big fan of that. But today's the day is Super Bowl Sunday. So what's the odds on some kind of weird occultic trans ritual? Remember they did the big all right, so here's something you guys can watch before the game. I did a breakdown I think it might not be last year, it might be the year before, but it could be last year. It was when The Weeknd did it, and there was a huge Luciferian transhumanist message. Huge Luciferian transhumanist message. Let's see, Superb Owl. What is the Superb Owl blue unicorn? Do they have an owl out? Did an owl, or is it Supreme Owl? The Supreme Owl God. Is that what we're going to see? Is a Supreme Owl God? Minerva, my friend? Very Bohemian Grove? I can't give ESPN money. You can find it online every time. John Wilson. I'm not going to endorse the piracy, but, again, you can't even get it on cable pay-per-view. Talk about killing cable. But that's because cable was stupid, and they wanted all sorts of fees. And that's a big move for Disney. Think about that. Disney in the United States, which is the biggest buyer of UFC pay-per-views, has a monopoly on that. You have to have a Disney subscription. And that's why Disney is all too happy to have... Sorry about that, guys. It's so weird that happened. Yeah, well, that was so weird. It just broke out like the stream out of nowhere. Just gave out. I did not like that. Didn't like that at all. As soon as I start talking about leprechauns and Disney. So, I mean, Conor McGregor just had more allegations against him. This time, throwing a woman off a boat, allegedly, after breaking her wrist, allegedly. And then all the way back in 2018, the alleged violent, brutal beating and rape of a woman. Disney's like, let's give him a TV show. Let's get a pay-per-view with him, and they're going to make buco bucks off it. He's literally worth billions to them. Think about that. The Disney Ears company, guys. Disney. Let me say it again. Disney. Disney openly knows that they are supporting, endorsing, and promoting, quote-unquote, alleged violent serial rapists. No big deal. No biggie. I think it's a big deal. Just me. I don't know. I wish I see that. That's a story that I'm waiting for somebody else to really hammer home and break. And you're not seeing anything about that boat in the United States. Oh, you know why? Because his Proper 12 whiskey is advertised. Isn't that nice? They advertises his Proper 12. It's proper nonsense. Rihanna's the halftime show? Yikes. I hope she goes with Seductive Angel and not Luciferian Crazy. That's what I hope. All right, guys. We had the interruption. We did almost an hour. I absolutely love you. I'll be back 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning with redvoicemedia.com. Remember, you can support me with the links down below. Rockfin, a great way to do it. If you haven't subscribed on Rumble, we got some stuff there that is completely uncensored. We're also posting the second hours almost in full, just like we're doing with Rockfin. Every once in a while, I break them up. But thank you, guys. Thank you. I hope you have a great Super Bowl Sunday, especially if you're going to the bar and meeting friends or you're going over to a house. Have a fun time. That's what life's all about. I love you, and I'll see you on the flip.